Hey YouTube, just taking a load of barley to the elevator in Rycroft, and it's about an hour and a half drive from here. So I'm gonna just show you kind of what it's about. I know the first time that I went to the elevator in a big truck, I was kind of nervous. I still got a lot to learn about trucking in general. There's a lot to it. But yeah, hopefully some of this might be able to help somebody. So I just have a tandem truck. It's not a tridem. So there's a certain weight limit I can carry on the drives. And then I have a tridem trailer. And again, that's different than having a tandem axle trailer or a Super B type trailer. So I'm just going to start up the auger here and get loaded. And then I'll come and find you here in a bit. So I've started loading. I guess the other thing I forgot to mention is this is a 3-hopper tridem. And some tridem trailers only have 2 hoppers, but I use this in the springtime to fill my air cart. And I've got some Michael's augers that go onto the bottom. And having a 3-hopper works really good for seed and fertilizer and everything I need to carry out to the field. So part of every trailer configuration is figuring out your weight that you can legally carry. So with a tandem truck and a tridem trailer, I can legally haul 46,500 kgs. And that's metric, so that's 46.5 ton. Usually as farmers, we get in the bad habit of saying ton. But ton is empirical, so that's 2,000 pounds. And a metric ton, T-O-N-N-E, I think is 2,200 or 2,206 pounds. And so we're hauling in tons, and then that's metric, so it can be converted to kgs, 1,000 for every ton. And so 46.5 ton is my gross weight. So there's a gauge in the truck that I watch, and then there's a gauge back here. And as the trailer loads, and I have this one marked, I can put it up to 64 pounds on that gauge, and then that equals the weight that I know that this trailer will legally haul. I'll leave the camera rolling for a lot of this, but then I'll fast forward and edit it later and kind of fast forward through a bunch of it and can just get the general idea. Okay, so one more note. I'm trying to hit that 64 pounds. This is a Synergy barley. And barley is supposed to weigh 48 pounds per bushel. And last year, the barley weighed 52 pounds per bushel. So it took less volume to get your weight. And this year, the barley is barely 48 pounds. And so that's why you've seen I had to get the truck so full, and I'm at about 63 pounds. So I'm a little bit light on my trailer. So I loaded an extra pound or 2 on my truck. So I should be able to dispose the cart now. I know it seems like kind of like a lot of truckers probably would, I don't know, not want to shovel or fill their corners up when it's light like that. But the price of fuel and everything else, you want to make sure that you're hitting your weights. You don't want to be over and get a fine, but you do want to be full, especially on these couple hour trips or whatever. So we'll head for the cab. Okay, it'll be a little bumpy here. Okay, so that's the air gauge for the truck. And I normally target 74, so I'm just over 75. So I'll be a little bit over on my drives, a little light on my trailer, but the combined total weight should be fairly close. So we'll just set you up here. Hopefully you can see the road. Let's try that. Hey, I'll grab you here for a minute. There's a lot to this trucking. I had a great buddy teach me a lot of things, but again, there's still a lot more to learn. So this is my air for my air cleaners to my truck. So say I did start to plug my air cleaners, I'd start to pull a vacuum between my air cleaner and my engine. So that's a good gauge to kind of keep an eye on. The other one's the weight that's on my drives. The next one there is your transmission temperature. Then over here you have your primary and secondary air pressure to operate the brakes and the suspension of the truck. And then beside that, that's your braking pressure. So if I apply the brakes, you can see that one come up. And that's important if you're going down a hill, because if you brake too hard with a big truck and you're loaded, you'll melt the brakes right off and you won't have any brakes left. So that's a fairly big deal. Your alternator, charging, fuel, of course. This other one is really important. That's your turbo pressure. So right now I'm running 20 pounds boost. Now it's going down as I start to go downhill a little bit. So my turbo was shot here a month ago, and I could only max out at 26 pounds boost. So this is a Caterpillar C15 single turbo engine, and it should have been pushing up over 30, and I knew it should, so it's getting weaker and weaker. Finally took it into the shop, they put a new turbo on, and now I can push 35 pounds of boost, which is good for a single turbo engine. And then on this side, this is my engine temperature, oil pressure, transmission oil pressure, and then over here, that's the important gauge, and it's in a really stupid spot. But that's your pyrometer, so that's watching your exhaust temperature. And if you're climbing a hill or you're working your truck hard, you got to make sure that doesn't get too hot on you, or you can melt your aluminum pistons in your engine. So, okay, get you set up here again, and away we go. About to break over the top of the gun wagon, and I've slowed down to about 40 kilometers an hour. This truck has an 18-speed transmission, and I've pulled this hill a lot, so I know that I can hold back this truck with the Jake brakes on the engine without applying brake pressure in fifth low. Basically, because you don't know what's around the corner, spiritual life, just like everything. You got to work hard on the foundation. Just rolled up his tarp, and then they have that automatic grain probe that's going down into the truck, and it's getting a grain sample. It's kind of like a vacuum cleaner system, and then it takes it over to the office where they sample it and everything over there. So usually that probe will go at least 3 times into a truck and take samples from all different places, and they're checking for moisture, they check for blockage. And I'm hauling a Synergy malt barley, so they're checking for a bunch of other things along with it to make sure it's an acceptable grade. So once this truck is done probing, then I'll pull up and then roll up my tarp, and this will happen to this truck, and then we'll pull around to Bay 1, the open door closest to the big silos there, and then there'll be a pit that we pull over top of and unload. There's a light, a stop-go light on the other side of this truck, and it shows green for him to pull ahead, and then it'll turn red for me. There's an intercom system here, so I call in over to the office, let them know what I have on board, let them know who I am, all that good stuff. For a minute. The first time I come here, and I was freaking out because you don't know quite where to go, you don't know quite what to do. They were really helpful. Phone had just cut out there, but okay, so they gave me the green just to pull ahead a little bit. See the probe in my mirror, so if they leave it hanging over top of the truck, it means that they want to probe or take another sample again. So once it turns green the next time, and then thing here, that's a huge dryer. So they bring in tough grain, or they let farmers bring in tough grain, they can run it through their dryer before they store it. This particular elevator has a dryer here and one on the other side of it, like a twin dryer setup. So they can dry zinc and canola, unwanted wheat, and another whatever they want to do. Okay, so I said we were shooting for 46,500 kg. So when we pull in here, we are on top of a scale, and it'll give us our weight in the corner, so we'll see how close we are. It takes about 4 minutes to unload once they give me the okay. So this guy here just rolled his tarp back up, so that means that he's offloaded. So he's gonna just walk inside here, get his slip of paper, and then he'll be probably another minute, and he'll be hitting the road. Line up your window with a mark on the wall or something, so you know where to park every time, so that your trailer is over that sump. There, you can see the sump. So we got to make sure the trailer lines up on that, all three hoppers, and then we don't have to move once we park. Okay, so he's off now. Up in the far corner on the left-hand side is the weight. And so let's see, as we get the whole truck and trailer on there, how close we are to 46,500. Okay, when I line up with the steel beam, oh, I tell you what, we're almost 1,800 pounds. Not too bad. Not too bad. 700 pounds light. We could have loaded a little bit more. Okay, and then I got to drop the air on the truck. So that's the beam I line up with my window. I drop the air on the truck because you unload so fast that it wouldn't be able to keep up with the equalizing valves. And I drop the air on the trailer, same reason. And then I'll just set you up here and I'll go inside and get the okay to unload. the tarp back up, turn the air back on, shut this door, and then I'll just air up the suspension on the truck and then go in to get my paper. So you can see right now we're back down to 15,970. So that's empty. So we offloaded 30 and a half ton of grain. And then just my suspension, and we should be good. Okay, catch you in a bit.